Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining in again to our part three of our webinar series on COVID-19 and university admissions. In this part three segment, I'm joined by a colleague of mine, Ruben Delgado, who represents Into University Partnerships, to give us some perspective on the response of institutions across the UK and the US. Um, in respect to the COVID-19 pandemic, which has grappled the world all over and has disrupted our everyday normal as we know it to be. Ruben, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, and a pleasure for me to be here with you to share more information about updates in COVID-19 as it relates to the US and the UK. In my presentation, I have some slides that will touch a little bit about policies as it relates to COVID-19 in the US, UK, national policies, policies in the institutions that I represent through Into University Partnerships. And then also I want to share some other thoughts about the majors, programs, and the universities that we work with to try to give you a perspective on what we offer. I'll start out by telling you a little bit about the COVID-19 UK updates. The government has introduced stringent measures and had it structured like most countries like Barbados for people to stay indoors to combat the spread of the coronavirus. There's still a lockdown in the UK in place. It was supposed to be until the beginning of May. As we know, everything is fluid. So as of now, it looks like this national UK shelter in place is going to be extended till mid-May. They are looking at the stats of how many cases they have. And the impact that's going to have on the healthcare system. So as of now, there's going to be a lockdown in place, or there's still a lockdown in place. We have universities through the Into University Partnership Network, and virtually all universities in the UK are closed. Schools and businesses that are not deemed essential are closed. There's going to be increased testing, and they see it as essential. Essential part of tracking the infection as per World Health Organization measures and national organization mandates. They are continuing to require social distancing measures, avoiding large public exposure, concerts, and so forth to reduce the contact between folks. So there's still lockdown in the UK. And like anything, folks, it is fluid. It is fluid situation worldwide, which includes the UK and also the US. When we talk about the US updates as it relates to COVID-19, in the US, it's a little bit different than the UK. There's really no nationally mandated lockdown. What is happening is that instead of the national government, or federal government rather, mandating a national lockdown, it is left up to many states to put in a quarantine or shelter in place, if you want to call it that. Around out of the 50 states, about 45 had a shelter in place orders. Those are beginning to be partially lifted in some of the states. Some of the states are still on quarantine, and those are they're in partial phases as we speak to get the economy back. Also being mindful of on testing, public health measures, and monitoring of the pandemic. As of now, universities in the U.S., along with schools and non-essential businesses, are closed. Businesses were deemed essential by the state are still open. And just like in the UK and as a mandated, we are continuing to require social distancing measures, which reduces contact with people, wearing masks, personal hygiene, and monitoring are part of the phases of getting the country back from a shelter in place or lockdown. Again, it varies from state to state. For example, I actually work remotely, and I'm in the state of Florida, in the city of Orlando. Statewide, the government started yesterday to partially open or lift the shelter-in-place orders and letting some of the essential businesses and some other ones back at a partial capacity, not a full capacity. Like anything else, it's still fluid, and we hope that this is going to be in phases in the U.S. that would eventually open up the economy and the states. Now, how does into university partnerships, how do we work with the current pandemic? Our first focus, and I want to emphasize, is going to be the health and wellness of all our students. Current students are into partner universities. Students who are going through our foundations in the UK, students who are in our pathway programs, and students who have progressed directly into the university. Just like I mentioned before, COVID-19 news are constantly changing, and we are committed to keeping you as students, as parents, as counselors up to date as much as possible. To safeguard our student community and to curb the spread of COVID-19, our into centers, the universities that we are working with are currently closed and have switched to online and virtual instruction. That happened for most of the universities we work with. In the last 4 weeks, they've actually closed down. The same with the majority of universities in the US and in the UK. They have closed down and are continuing to do online instruction to finish the current semester. Most of them are projecting to start a summer semester, right? Their May, June intake, what we call summer, online. Now, as far as the late August or September intake, right, depending upon what country you're thinking of applying to, it depends. We are still projecting to start classes to open up our campuses, our universities back in the August or September term. However, if there are global restrictions, travel restrictions continue in those terms, we then will begin classes online. So stay tuned. We certainly will keep you informed, but as of now, we are projecting to start our classes on our campus and opening those campuses back up in the August and September 2020 semester or term. Now, what I wanted to share a little bit more about now are the universities that I work with in both the US and in the UK. Now, before I continue, I also want to give you some other tips, and let me backtrack, if I may, on COVID-19 and how that applies to university policies, and to universities in the US and the UK. Certainly, I know that sometimes it may be hard to get exams from, in this case, from Barbados, CXC, potentially CABE results. Do reach out to universities that you are working with to see what they're doing, because we have a lot of universities in the US, right? We have thousands, we have hundreds in the UK. Every university is going to be a little bit different as far as credentials they need to complete your application, or to certify that you have all completed documents. So it is to your benefit to make sure that you're contacting that university representative to see if alternate documentation is needed to complete your application, to complete your file with that university. And they overall are understanding, knowing that right now we have this pandemic and it's unprecedented as far as continuing to get documentation, so they'll be as flexible as possible. As of this moment, too, when we're looking at U.S. student visas, for the majority of the embassies and consulates across the world, they are closed. As the weeks go by, there's going to be a mandate, to potentially open these embassies and consulates. So do stay tuned. Again, the same with the UK, to make sure that you're getting all the information needed. The good news is that you still have a few months to potentially get all the documents needed in order to potentially follow up and get your student visa, whether you're thinking of the US, UK, Canada, or so forth. Now, getting back into the universities that I represent, In the Into UK portfolio of network, we actually have a few universities that we represent in the UK. And up in the screen, you actually have a picture of the universities that I represent, starting, and I'll go from the north of the map to the south. We have two universities in Scotland. We have Glasgow Caledonian, and we have the University of Stirling. Glasgow, the city itself, has about 600,000, one of the three main cities in Scotland. The University of Stirling, a little bit smaller as far as the town, with about 90,000. It is one of the three main cities, offering both a wide array of majors. A lot of students like the destination because, again, of cost. It tends to be a lot cheaper than actually going to study in London and Manchester. In Northern Ireland, we have Queen's University in Belfast. Again, another thing that's common with Queen's University in Belfast is going to be the cost of living, a highly ranked university at a very affordable price. Both tuition and cost of living, it is a main attractor for Queen's University in Belfast. As far as the majors that they are known for, they're known for law and architecture. They're very strong in the sciences. When we keep going down and we look at Manchester, we actually have in our portfolio the University of Manchester, ranked 27th in the world. We're known for degrees in science, engineering. They have architecture and many, many more. Another university that we have in Manchester that we work with is Manchester Metropolitan University. And they're going to be known for areas such as architecture, media, fashion, hospitality management, which is huge in the Caribbean, art and design, and physiotherapy. So they're going to be known as a very young university, or top 200 in the world, as far as under 50 years old, and many degrees offer an industry placement and internships. So if you want a practical degree, Manchester Metropolitan University is going to be the way to go. Going along with that, we have Newcastle University. They're going to be highly ranked, one of the top 150 global universities. They're known, among others, for biomedical sciences, business and marketing, communication and media, and architecture. Going down the map, the University of Exeter in the city of Exeter is going to be another highly ranked university. They're known for business economics, civil engineering, psychology, business economics, and they have most subjects in the UK in the top 10 after Cambridge and Oxford. So they're going to be a highly ranked university. We have also University of East Anglia, right, located in Norwich, a very quaint town. Their top 5 degrees are accounting and finance, media studies, psychology, marketing, and management. But along with that, they have many other degrees. And when you're looking at London as a city, a destination, it is going to be one of the top destinations for students worldwide. In our portfolio, we have City University in London. They have very strong business degrees, law, engineering, and also along with that, actuarial sciences. Along with that, also Newcastle University is going to have a campus in London, so great connections for business industry placement. And our Into London Education Center has a lot of opportunities for students to progress from foundation to degrees in the other UK universities. Now let's talk a little bit about why choose the UK. There are many choices into why the UK is still one of the top destinations worldwide for students. And I think as of now, it ranks number 2 worldwide. First, it's going to be the world-class universities with outstanding research reputation, right? I mentioned the University of Manchester, 27th in the world. They've produced over 25 Nobel laureates in different areas, either students who have graduated or professors who have taught there or are teaching as of now. We have universities, Cambridge, we have Oxford, and so many other universities. A university system that has been around for centuries, so it's going to be world's class and very established. The UK as a destination still is #2 in the world as far as research output. So there's a lot of opportunities for students who are going to be in STEM areas to do that. The qualifications that you would get from a UK university are second to none. So they're going to be internationally recognized. And as we know in the Caribbean, including the Barbados and other islands, a lot of students have an affinity to study in the UK because their system, it is going to be based on the British education system. Shorter courses in some instances allow for reduced spending, great career development with opportunities to stay in country. And in September of 2019, actually, the government of the UK government came out with an opportunity of students who graduate with a degree to stay in country working for 2 years. A lot of industry connections, a lot of opportunities for placement. So the focus is going to be on theory and hands-on employability, which is going to be important for students. And like I mentioned, it's going to be a popular student destination. I say that the UK is a springboard for Europe to get to know other cultures. And it's no surprise why over 500,000 students choose the UK as a destination each year. We strive for excellence. The universities that we have are going to be part of the Russell Group, and some of the universities have achieved what we call the TAF Gold. And I'll explore in a little bit what that means. So it's going to be really a first-class higher education offered by universities. Now, what is a Russell Group? In the US, typically, we talk about Ivy League universities, right? We talk about Harvard, MIT, Yale, Princeton as Ivy League universities. Well, in the UK, the term that equates to that is going to be the Russell Group. And this is a group of 24 prestigious UK universities where we have exceptional research and teaching quality. Now, the universities that we're proud to say are part of the Into Network, that are part of the Russell Group, includes the University of Exeter, the University of Manchester, Newcastle University, and Queen's University in Belfast. As far as the teaching excellence framework, this is an accolade that's given to universities based on their teaching performance and the learning outcomes of this particular universities in the UK, right? They either are granted gold, bronze, or silver award. And several partners have actually been awarded the TAF Gold for delivering outstanding results. This would include 3 universities in our Into network. That includes the University of Exeter, University of East Anglia, and lastly, Newcastle University. Why choose Into? Well, there's many reasons that I'm going to mention, a few of them. The first is to really be international education specialist. So we're going to be that office that represents, along with Student Center, the universities in the UK, and in a second I'll talk about the universities that we represent in the US. We have student-tailored programs in leading universities. We have over 1,000 programs in the UK at the undergraduate and graduate level. So there's going to be a wide range of undergraduate and postgraduate courses. We expose students to university life. We have personalized expert teaching and first-class facilities. We give you all the support that you need pre-arrival through accommodations to picking you up at the airport. We also give you academic or what we call pastoral care to make sure that you're going to be successful, right? We're going to be in a cultural diverse area wherever you're going to be in the UK, and we have a very welcoming social environment at the universities, at the Into centers. It is no surprise why over 14,000 students from 150 countries around the world chose Into to go ahead and continue on their studies at our Into partner universities. And over 92% of the students are satisfied with our Into programs in our Into centers and partner universities. So you have the right course. We're going to take you from going and finishing your CXCs and or your CAPES to advise you in conjunction with our partners, our colleagues from Student Center, our raters, to make sure that you have all the routes to the university that you're going to be interested in, that you're achieving your dreams. It all depends on your academic grades. We have universities who are going to be a little more competitive. There's going to be some other universities who are going to be less competitive. So we're going to have a flexible study plan for you and provide every option possible to make sure you achieve your dreams. Now, there's few ways to enter the universities that we work with. One is going to be direct entry. This allows students to directly enter to a university, one of our selected universities in the UK, depending upon your academic credentials. If you meet those credentials, you can apply. Now, why apply through why apply through the Student Center? Because there's hundreds of degree programs that you can choose for. The other one is going to be the other added advantage. It's going to be that you can submit multiple applications in a single application form. Now, this is in conjunction with working with our folks as a Student Center. They will identify the area, the major that you're interested in, course that you're interested in, and then assist you in the application process. There's going to be additional flexibility on application deadlines. Another important factor is going to be scholarship opportunities. Through us, we can assist you in maximizing scholarship opportunities at the partnership universities. In some cases, you can bypass the dreaded, in some cases, quote unquote, dreaded UCAS application process. So going through our application, going through Student Center, and working with us, we can bypass that by applying through our website, through Student Center. And application fees are going to be waived, at least to apply. And we also have quick decisions on applications. So that's going to be important for students, both through direct entry and also through other programs. Now, for my students who are looking at continuing on an undergraduate degree, it is often the first route to take, or the most common route, I should say, is an international foundation. Looking at the graphic that we have in front of us, in essence, the blue part is the international foundation, which is 1 year. When you progress from that international foundation, whether it'll be in social sciences, whether it's in business, whether it's in engineering, whatever major program you choose, once you progress from that at one of our N2 centers at the university, that you will progress on to continue on to your undergraduate degree, which is an additional 3 years. So in essence, the undergraduate degree in the UK through the International Foundation is going to be 4 years. 1 year of International Foundation, followed by 3 years of undergraduate studies in the program or course of your choosing, right? Whether you go to our universities based in England or Northern Ireland or in Scotland, right? It is still going to be 4 years. You're going to be fully immersed in the university, or going to be a student at the university. The foundation gives you more academic support for you to be successful. For my students who want to pursue a graduate degree, an opportunity to really get the research skills necessary for you to be successful for some of our main competitive universities like University of Manchester or City University London, is to do a graduate diploma. This is 2 to 3 terms and basically makes you more competitive. Now, this is an option, not necessarily a choice for most students. This might be for students who are going into those competitive programs who or may have grades that are not competitive to enter those programs. An undergraduate, international graduate diploma takes 1 year, and then that will subsequently be followed up by 1 year of a master's degree. Now, for my students interested in a master's degree for direct entry, who do not want to take the international graduate diploma, the advantage of attending a UK university is that a graduate degree, postgraduate, or if you want to call it a master, it only takes 1 year to complete a master's degree. So the UK will be the perfect destination because you're serving time and money continuing on and getting your graduate degree, again, at very recognized, internationally recognized and highly ranked universities. So there's plenty of choices for you as a student in continuing your education in the UK. Now, briefly, I'm going to touch about universities that we work with in the US. Before I do that, I want to talk a little bit about the advantages in studying in the US, right? Just like I mentioned some advantages in studying in the UK, there are always certain advantages into looking into studying in the US. These are five main reasons that I will quickly cover. One is going to be universities in the US have national and international reputation. Some of the universities that we work with are nationally ranked. They're going to be internationally ranked. They're going to be in the top 200 to 300 universities worldwide. Now, mind you that as far as universities worldwide, you're talking about 14 to 15,000 universities. So we're going to be in good company. The other strength of the US system, or the educational system rather, is going to be the flexible holistic education system, where you can start in one major and then change your major to another area without impacting the length of time to complete that undergraduate degree. You can do what we call a major and a minor, right? So a major is what you're going to concentrate on when you're pursuing an undergraduate degree. The minor is going to be immediate concentration, which is built within the major. It doesn't cost you any more time. It doesn't cost you any more money to complete the undergraduate degree. Because for that first year to year and a half, irrespective of your major, you're going to be taking some general education requirements. So again, that flexible holistic education system is going to be a strength for a lot of students who don't necessarily know what they want to do, or for students who are interested in more than one area or concentration. So you can combine that, you can do a double major. The choices are really unlimited for a lot of students. Number three is going to be the experience of a traditional university atmosphere, right? This is what I call the traditional American college experience that you see in movies, where you can partake in American football games, where you can see the cheerleaders, where a lot of universities, or all of them mainly, are going to have in the US housing or accommodations. They are, in essence, mini cities, whether they're small, mid-sized, or larger, with student health clinics, with their own cafeterias, bowling alleys, with pools, with access to very fancy recreation and athletic facilities, with access to hundreds of student organizations and clubs for you to participate. And that's going to be something that's ingrained in the educational system or the universities in the US. So it is going to be a very, very unique experience that a lot of students fully engage in, and they really enrich themselves personally, professionally, and culturally. Number four is going to be experiential learning, right? The opportunity to be engaged in research if you want to at the undergraduate level. Very important for my students interested in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, right? Getting that opportunity to learn, right? Getting access to microscopes that might be worth 200,000 US dollars, to the latest facilities, not only for science majors and technology majors, but for students in other areas, right? To have the opportunity to do study abroad, to spend a semester in Europe, to spend a semester in Asia, to partake in different opportunities is going to be unique. In each major that you're going to be interested in, or a major that you're going to concentrate in, the opportunity to do internship, it's going to be essential, right? And that's going to be something that it's ingrained in every university that we work with. Number five, it's going to be optional practical training, right? What we call OPT. And this is, I say 3 years here, but it depends. It can be from 1 to 3 years. And this is, in essence, an opportunity to stay in the US and actually work after you have graduated legally on a student visa. Now, the 1 year is for students who are going to be in areas other than STEM: science, technology, engineering, mathematics. So psychology, the social sciences, you can stay 1 year after your undergraduate degree, and also after your master's degree, and actually we're gaining valuable experience. For my majors classified as STEM, you can stay up to 3 years working after you've graduated in your student visa. So that's going to be something that's going to be remarkable, and that's something that certainly a lot of students take advantage in the US once they come here and study. Now, what study within in the US? We were specialized, like I mentioned before, international higher education folks. We have helped over 15,000 students. You earn credits towards your degree from day one. So whether you come through a pathway or you come direct entry, you still graduate within 4 years. We have 12 US partners with over 1,100 degree options. And we have fully integrated programs with the highest level of support, and it is customized for international students. Now, let me mention briefly 2 ways to gain admissions. In the bubble to the left, it's actually the undergraduate degree programs that we have. And it parallels a little bit of the UK, adding a little bit more. Direct entry, it's for students who meet the requirements to enter the university at the undergraduate level. They have the marks to come into the university. The second one is going to be what we call Undergraduate Transfer Program, UTP. And this is for students, for example, who started at the University of the West Indies, who did 1 year of university coursework and they want to transfer that. They can certainly do that at the universities within into the Into network. And the third one is what we call International Year One or Pathway Program. And this is for students who need extra academic support, who may have lower grades or want to take advantage of extra support. Those students still graduate within 4 years. And a lot of students from the Caribbean, what they will do is come into what we call the Accelerated International Year One program. So it's not really 1 year, it's a 1 semester and another 3.5 years in the major itself. You still graduate like direct entry in 4 years. For my graduate students, there's 2 ways to get in to our universities, to gain admissions in our US universities. One is going to be direct entry. And that is if you have the grades to get in, you have the GRE, which is an exam required to enter a lot of the universities, or the GMAT if you want to enter a business program. You have the grades, then you may be eligible for direct entry. For my students who want to bypass that, I recommend going through our graduate pathway program, which they bypass the GRE or the GMAT. So there is no need for standardized testing. All that we'll look at is going to be your grades to enter directly into the university. So those are going to be the programs that we offer through our US partners at Into. Now here on the screen, you're going to have a map of the 12 universities that we work with in the US, and I'm going to break them down by geographical area in a second, right? So the universities that we represent, or I represent, are going to go from being in small college towns to big metropolitan cities. Starting with the West, I'm going to start from top to bottom. We represent 3 universities. In the West, that include Washington State University, the main university being in Pullman. It's going to be a college town. The second one is going to be Oregon State University, and the third is going to be Colorado State University. These are 3 public universities. They're known for different areas, but they're strong in science. They're going to be strong for students who want to do, any engineering majors, communication, business. There's going to be among some of the majors students are going to be interested in when they're applying to these 3 universities. Moving along, when we talk about the Midwest, we have 2 universities that include Illinois State University and St. Louis University. Illinois State University is going to be a public university located in a town called Normal. They're going to be about 2.5 hours from Chicago, so smaller town with the opportunities of going into a major city, Chicago, on the weekends. They have a great actuarial sciences program. They're one of the top ones in the US. They're known for business. As far as cost of living, it is an attractive option for students to attend Illinois State University. For St. Louis University, they're a private Catholic university. They're Jesuit. They're known for aerospace engineering, business, among others. They also have a campus in St. Louis, not St. Louis, but in Madrid, Spain. So you have the opportunity to actually go to Spain and do 1 to 2 years. It'll be taught in English, and then transfer to St. Louis University. classes in our St. Louis Madrid in our St. Louis University Madrid campus tend to be a lot cheaper. So it is definitely a viable option for a lot of students. They're known for supply logistics, supply chain management, and also international business, among others. In the Northeast, we have 4 universities. We have Suffolk University in Boston. They're going to be known for business. They're going to be in the heart of Boston. Over 10 Fortune 500 companies are going to be in the area. So amazing internship opportunities with Fortune 500 companies. They're known for business. Some of those finance areas, data analysis, data management are going to be known for that. Computer science, law. They're well known for law in a lot of opportunities. So Suffolk, it's going to be Suffolk University in Boston. In Boston as a destination, it is one of the top 3 destinations for international students in the U.S. So no surprise because of the location, the internship opportunities. When we talk about Hofstra University, they're going to be located in New York. They're going to be in Long Island, about 45 minutes from New York City. So that lends itself to a lot of internship opportunities. Hofstra is known for business, engineering, and media communications. So a lot of opportunities for the students in those areas. For Drew University is going to be a small university. It is what we call liberal arts. They are known for areas such as business. They're about 45 minutes from Wall Street. So students have the opportunity to do what we call a summer semester in Wall Street. So what better place to be than New York City? For my theater majors, they have a highly regarded theater major. For students interested in the international studies area, they have a semester at United Nations. So, and also they're known for science, believe it or not. They actually can prepare students to go on to pre-med school. One of their science professors at Drew University won a Nobel Prize in medicine. So they prepare a lot of students to go on to medical school. And last but not least, we represent George Mason University in Fairfax, Virginia, about 40 minutes from the capital, Washington, D.C. So my students interested in international relations, because of location, proximity to Washington, D.C., a lot of opportunities. They also have great degrees in areas such as engineering, computer science, robotics. So definitely a good destination and location. They have a degree in animation for my students interested in animation. Also certainly look at George Mason as one of your universities when applying through us. And last but not least, this universities that represent in the South, and they include Marshall University in Huntington. Cost of living tends to be a lot less in that area, and they're good for business and engineering, among other majors. The University of Alabama at Birmingham, and again, cost of living is another factor of why students choose to go to the University of Alabama Birmingham. They're known for degrees in business. They have an excellent cybersecurity. There's a lot of jobs in that area, and they actually have worked closely with Facebook, among other companies in cybersecurity. Amazing biotechnology major. In business, they have an incubator in the area, so a lot of those students are being hired in those areas. And they're also known for being very active in biological sciences. And last but not least, University of South Florida, located in Tampa, Florida, one of the most popular, if not the most popular university that we represent. The University of South Florida is located in Tampa, and they have over 100 majors at the undergraduate level. They're very heavy hitters in the area of STEM, science, technology. They're known for engineering and mathematics, but also they have excellent degrees in other areas such as business, marketing, entrepreneurship, the arts, social sciences. So because of the proximity to the Caribbean, a lot of students and parents tend to apply to the University of South Florida, either through a pathway or through direct entry. A little bit before I conclude my presentation, at least, and have some Q&A with you, these are some of the characteristics of the universities that I represent in the US, going from Oregon State all the way to Hofstra University. It tells you the year they were founded, the number of students. And you can see some are larger, like the University of South Florida has 50,000. So they're a larger campus. That necessarily it's a bad thing. It means more opportunities for students. It all depends on your personality as a student. Some students will thrive at larger settings, and other ones might be more comfortable at medium-sized universities and smaller universities. To the right column, you will see the rankings based on U.S. News and World Report, telling you the rankings of the institutions. And now this goes over some of the accolades of the universities in different highlighted areas, which could include business. For example, we talked a little bit about USF. It tells you that they have the #8 center in the nation as far as entrepreneurship. Marshall is named one of the business schools. George Mason has one of the best business undergraduate programs, ranked 79th in the nation, and that's understanding in the U.S. We have over 4,700 universities and colleges. So, again, pretty good standings. St. Louis University has one of the top 50 entrepreneurship, finance, and international business programs. Washington State University, the top 20 as far as undergraduate international business degrees. We talked about Illinois State University. If you're interested in insurance programs, they're ranked number 9th in the nation. State Farm actually gives a lot of internships because they're located in the area. So my students interested in that area, definitely look at Illinois State University. We talk about engineering, right? Another area that's very important to students. Oregon State University, OSU, has one of the best undergraduate engineering programs, robotics, mechanical engineering, STEM areas. The same with the University of South Florida, Colorado State. You have George Mason, wonderful opportunities in those universities. For Drew, rather interesting proposition when you have a combined degree, where you can actually get a degree not only from Drew University, but also get a dual degree with Columbia University or Washington University, Stevens Institute of Technology and Engineering. So again, you can get a dual degree through Drew University, and that makes you more competitive as a student, right? When you're getting out there and trying to find a job, you can put that in your resume. St. Louis University, again, great degrees. They're known for mechanical aerospace engineering. And the list just goes on and on about co-op internship opportunities in Hofstra. Illinois State, they have engineering technology with an excellent job placement in that area. Going into the science areas, it mentions that OSU has an oceanography program that's ranked number 3 worldwide. So very impressive. USF, number 16 in the world as far as granted US patents. We have a Rice program at Drew University, and this program works with retired scientists that mentor students who want to be in STEM areas. The good news is that the state of New Jersey has a lot of pharmaceutical companies that will employ students through internships and potentially through STEM job OPT opportunities once you graduate. So what better place to be than in New Jersey for those job opportunities and to learn alongside this retired industry of scientists that will give you all that information for you to be successful. If you're interested in public health, St. Louis has a wonderful program. And again, the list just goes on the recognized programs that we have at the different universities. For journalism and communication majors, Washington State has a program that's nationally recognized. Boston for Suffolk University students is one of the top 10 U.S. media markets. For Illinois State, they have a social media analytics command center. So there's only a few universities that have that in the U.S. or actually worldwide. Hofstra, great opportunity. The dean of the College of Communications, he was actually an NBC executive. So a lot of opportunities for you, since you're going to be about 40 minutes from New York City, to get have internships at NBC, CBS, Viacom. which is a conglomerate of different networks, and they own different channels. So a lot of opportunities in that area. For theater and performing arts, a lot of opportunities. Drew University has one of the top 10 theater programs in the U.S. Illinois State has arts and technology as a major, which is interesting. George Mason has a degree that's called arts management, would apply business with the art major itself. So a lot of opportunities in performing arts. And now this concludes my presentation. I want to, Sheena, open it up for any questions or any other remarks that you may have as far as the COVID-19 updates and the universities that Inter represents.
Thank you, Ruben, for your presentation and putting everything comprehensively for us to explain into and their role in college and university admissions and what may be of great relevance to Caribbean students who are looking at either the UK or the US as possible study destinations. One important thing is for students and parents out there is that the US itself alone has close to about 5,000 schools to choose from at the higher ed level. And it's not so simple as going online and just going through a whole bevy of schools. Sometimes this can get very overwhelming and everything looks great online. What has been able to do is to take the best from the very best, and then provide different pathways. So in some cases where you might not necessarily meet direct admissions for whatever reason, there is still a way for you to gain admission. And it has schools that would include, that will be special in certain areas. For example, the engineering, whether you want to go on to medicine, whether you want to go on to a technology type career. And where we sit from our end at the Student Center, we are from an advising standpoint and a placement support standpoint, where we can see based on what your interests, where your interest lies and what your qualifications are and your different preferences, try to put everything in order for you. And we work through admissions and different partners such as Into to give you support throughout the way to make your college and university preparation process as smooth as possible. Now, Ruben, I have quite a few questions for you.
Sure.
Regarding college and university admissions going forward, as we all try to endure this COVID-19 pandemic and try to get to a place where we can create a new normal going forward and resume to some sense of regular everyday living. However, it might be shaped, knowing that social distancing is here to stay for quite some time. Mm-hmm. In looking at what some of the responses has been, especially in regards to immigration, I'm going to start there first. So we would have had students who are looking to commence either in August or September, depending on whether they're looking at the US or the UK. Now, there are cases, for example, in Canada where they're allowing them to still apply. And even if they start online, it wouldn't interfere with their ability to access their postgraduate work permit upon completion. Are you aware? I know that the immigration offices are closed for the UK and the US at this time, but things will open back up. But
Correct.
suppose students can't start in person, but they can start online. Well, do you foresee or do you know whether it would interfere with their ability to obtain their full 3-year or 2-year postgraduate work permit?
So from the standpoint of starting on, if they were to be started online, it is my understanding that that wouldn't necessarily affect, that would need a tier 4 visa for the US, for the UK, sorry.
Yes.
And for the US, they would need an I-20, being that classes will commence online. Following that, understanding that potentially that may happen, and they will complete one semester online, then the opportunity for them to come either to the US or UK will then require them to follow up with the appropriate immigration officials to then get that I-20 or that visa to then go to the UK. So through online, there is no expectations that a student visa will be needed, as they will go to the country to start classes. In person, then that will be the expectation.
So even when they graduate, even though they would have
Oh,
spent a portion of their like time online, it wouldn't interfere.
it should not
Shouldn't.
interfere, but again, everything is so fluid that I don't know. They
Hmm.
have it shouldn't interfere, but students need to stay in tune with
Hmm.
their Office of International Studies
Yeah.
to see if there's any changes to that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And applications, we do get a lot of questions from parents who may now still be deciding on
Mhm.
next steps as to where their child might be going or where themselves might be going. Schools are still taking applications.
A- Absolutely, that's a great, excellent question. And thank you for reminding me to address that question. Absolutely, it is hard to say that. Of course, every single school in the U.S. and the U.K. are still taking applications, but it is safe to say that a lot of universities are still taking applications, or will take applications to consider those.
Hmm.
Um, because again, the semester is going to start in late August in some cases in the U.S. and in the U.K. Late September. Certainly, it behooves the student to contact the specific counselor to see if there's any openings. I can certainly assure you that all the partner universities in Into Network are still accepting applications for the August and September intake. And I certainly will recommend to students to take a look at that and really look at it to apply to us. The reason being is that you can get all your documents in and hopefully, attend the university. And worst case scenario is we can always defer that application in for the January 2021 term. But at least the advantage is that you will have all your documents in and there will be one less stress to worry about in the future.
For those that are looking at the US specifically and they're still looking to apply now, with the cancellation of SAT tests center well, SAT tests will be canceled for both May and June. Um, and I know that it's still kind of fluid right now whether the test will resume for August. I know they have some scheduled for September and so forth. What if they wanted to still apply?
Mhm.
What would you recommend for those students?
Yeah, it's an excellent question. A lot of the universities that we work with in the U.S., the 12 universities that we work with, will not require SATs for direct entry to university. There are some, however, that will require for direct entry SAT or ACT testing. As of now, for the fall, it may be that the best route for those students might be to come through the pathway program. The reason being is that the pathway does not require a student, to submit an SAT to enter. They still graduate within 4 years, and they're still giving actually extra academic support. So even if students, if the SAT was available, I always try to recommend a pathway because of the advantages of extra academic support. And now, Sheena, that we add that SAT will not be given, and it might be too late to report those test scores
Mhm.
if the student hasn't taken it. A viable route might be to go through a pathway program. Now certainly students in universities in our portfolio that would not require SATs, the students can still submit an application direct entry to us. And the best way is to consult with you, with the Student Center, to take a look at what universities might be the best fit for that student.
For those students who may not require SAT scores, but they're applying now with schools, their own local schools closed, so therefore access to official transcripts will be limited. Even getting in some cases, I know in the UK they like some predicted grades. For those UK
Mhm.
schools that may still be taking applications at this time, what
Mhm.
alternate measures are available for those students who still want to put in an application, but recognizing that
Mhm.
obtaining
Yeah.
an official transcript or certified copy of their certificates may be not possible.
Mhm. That's an excellent question, and it's a question that it requires some flexibility and understanding from the universities. Overall, the universities are getting applications from students all over the world in similar situations where, unfortunately, national testing has been stopped, or they're not able to get a hand on their final diploma and or transcripts to the university. So universities are trying to come up with sensible policies to address this unprecedented situation. So what I tell students is that every university in the US is going to be a little bit different. There is no set way. But what I can assure you is that if once you apply, please contact that university, and if possible, submit the latest transcripts and or grades that you can, so then they can make a determination
Mhm.
on those predictive scores and predictive grades. And as we start coming out of say quarantine or lockdown in particular countries in Barbados and other Caribbean countries, then you can submit the updated final scores and or marks for them to upgrade your update your file. So as of now, a lot of universities are facing this. The summary would be, Sheena, and
Mhm.
submit whatever latest credentials they have, secondary school credentials, for consideration.
Thanks for that, Ruben.
Absolutely.
Um, Thinking about like putting ourselves in a worst case scenario, because
Mm,
sometimes you plan for the worst but hope for the best, and
absolutely.
taking that into consideration, what if things? I know persons are talking about a second wave of this virus, or there's still a high degree of uncertainty. Worst
Hmm.
case scenario that a regular start can't happen, but as you said, there are provisions for schools to offer online.
Hmm.
One of the questions that we've been getting would be whether there would be a difference in the cost of the tuition during for
Yes.
that particular interim period.
Yes, that's an excellent question, and it's a very legitimate question. Now, from the get go, I want to share with students and parents that from the get go, we know for a fact that it's going to be cheaper overall, even without any policies from the universities that we work with. The reason being is that an online course, staying home, will save you time and in cost of living, in meal plans, and insurance, and in accommodation. So that we know for a fact it is money that you can save on as a family to use. Later on, once you step in and actually attend the university. Now, as far as tuition prices, I can tell you that at least for the universities or their students who will come through a pathway program at Into, there is going to be a lower cost of actually attending those online courses through Pathway, and that's coming on soon. We will divulge that price in the upcoming week or two. We're getting all that information together and working on an online platform to give a flexible option to students who want to start from home should classes not start in the August or September intake. As far as the particular universities or direct entry programs, universities right now are working behind the scenes to actually get an online platform for all the particular universities that we work with and the ones that we're not working with to set that. They are working on pricing models. And certainly will come out with that. I don't have any news for direct entry students on the tuition prices for potential online classes. But certainly, like I mentioned before, stay tuned. It is fluid, and certainly there is going to be hopefully some discounting in pricing to reflect using online platform in the beginning of classes should it happen for the online term in August or September.
And this is like a follow on from that question
Sure.
because obviously there are different types of programs in different disciplines which will require some might be easier to format in a virtual classroom type setting as opposed
Mhm.
to in person. What about some of those programs that really, like for example, engineering, where there's a great lab component?
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, what would
Mhm.
be? I know I've seen some schools already start to cancel those programs for the interim. What
Yeah.
do you think? What do you? It will be the same for the U.S. and U.K. schools as well.
I don't have any say, but I suspect so. What I think is going to happen is they're going to, Sheena, is they're going to maximize and offer a curriculum that will maximize the online, or take advantage of the online platform. What do I mean by that is that they're going to give you, probably classes are going to be more theoretical in nature, understanding that it's not going to be the same. It's not going to substitute some of these classes that are going to be online that require a lab. So for example, that you may begin, as we know in the U.S., the education system work is that you have to take what we call 36 credit hours in the gen ed courses, right? General
Hmm.
education requirement.
Yeah.
Maybe that, that you will take an English composition course, which you can actually completely do online. They're going to be interactive in nature, and you complete all this work. Is it the same as being at the university? Not, but it's going to be probably fairly close with the online platforms that we're using or will use in the near future. Some beginning courses, some academic electives that we already have established at the university. And also remember, as a student, as a parent, that a lot of these universities already have a presence online. They've had actually for nearly a decade have offered some of these courses online. So I would assume that they're going to start with that scenario and then leave as we get COVID-19 suppressed. Then students will go on into the classroom itself, then lead into some of these classes that will lend themselves to laboratory work. So in summary, that's why I think they will begin with some introductory courses, some academic electives that you can actually do online and dedicate or then move on later on into some of these classes that will require hands-on learning, defer those to when the student actually attends the university itself.
Thank you for that explanation, Ruben.
Sure.
Um, I want to really take this time to thank you for spending this time with us and giving us a good overview of into university partner schools across the US and the UK, recognizing that the US and the United Kingdom, they're the two of the biggest study destination choices for many of our students from across the Caribbean. And I believe that this would be a trend that continues, even if with some fluctuations given the COVID-19 pandemic. And this might be partly due to the varying responses across some of the study destinations that our students go to within their own territories. And also recognizing that there's still, even if we flatten the curve, there's still the fear of getting the virus still, as it seems that it will remain with us for quite some time before there's a vaccine in place, or it just makes its way out. So basically, just to sum up everything, things are still fluid at this time. There is no definite position on whether classes will be canceled for September or for August, um, but recognizing that this could change at any time, and for students to stay in tune with the schools that they have applied to, and checking up on their emails, checking in on their application portals to see any updates, because conditions can change in a minute. Um,
Correct.
and even while we might prepare for the worst, there's still a great level of optimism that classes will start, even if for the interim that start may be online, and they might be to still give you a chance to get started with your classes, to reduce the gap between an actual start in person. Because I think a lot of us are discussing that going forward, even the way we do in classroom learning might be a bit different, taking into account public health safety measures that will continue after COVID-19. So stay in touch, stay tuned,
Yes, absolutely.
communicate with your schools, and always ask a question before making a decision. And note that we are here to assist, and I'm sure that we will get more answers as time goes along. And any updates, any queries, any questions, feel free to reach out to us. You can contact us at the Student Center here via our website, www.thestudentcenter.net, and center is CENTRE, the UK way. So that is www.thestudentcenter.net, or you can send us an email at info@thestudentcenter.net. Into is here with some university choices from across the globe. They're top, well-qualified universities already vetted to make the application process smoother for you to choose your programs and to choose the right fit for you uh, based on your budget, based on your academics. Thank you once again, Ruben,
Thank you.
and have a good day, everyone.
Likewise, thank you.